Also, I think there's some on contract here.
Is there?
Hey, it's Talon Maki. This is Noob Fleet for Monday, and we'll just about be ready to get started.
Thanks for the T2, Merlin's there, Marcus.
Are there any executioners for tackle on contract in Stackman?
This is a T1 Merlin.
Probably no. It looks like no, but you can probably buy one.
Here's the fitting.
Most of the fittings are most likely to be on market, scattered around the system.
Thank you.
Let me just pull up Mini Bro speech and we shall get started.
And I'm gonna be quiet so y'all can hear everybody chat.
Been a while since I've ran through this. Excuse me if I do mess up a bit at times. Nice cycling. Cool. So, can I please get new rows with an X below that line? If you've been on less than 3 fleets, or if it's one of your first few fleets, go and put an X. Perfect. I love new bros. Have you ever been on a fleet before, Tamalia? If I got your name wrong, I'm sorry.
No.
Alright, perfect. That's the perfect fleet for you. So, there's a few first things I'm going to be going over. Let me just reload my own MOTD so I can get these little links for you. And we should get started. Loading in one moment. Did it load? Perfect. So, this first link here, fleet commands. This outlines the 4 basic commands that I'm going to be saying during fleets. These commands being align, warp, jump, and hold. Each one of these commands, of course, means something, and you got to pay attention to these commands, or you're going to be behind the fleet, ahead of the fleet, and you're going to get lost. So starting off with the first one. Align is, I'm going to say, fleet align to AGO, that'd be an outgate of a system, a goes. That would mean to just press the align button, or right-click align kind of thing. It only points your ship towards that. You do not warp, and you definitely do not jump. Next is the warp command. I'll say fleet warp to the outgate or fleet warp to the AGO gate, entailing that you should warp your ship to whatever I'm saying to warp to. And once you've landed, once you're no longer in warp, you want to hold. You do not want to move until any further commands are given. Next is the jump command. For the jump command, I will always say it 3 times. So I'll say fleet jump, 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 fleet jump, jump, jump. If I don't say it 3 times, it's most likely I'm just talking to a scout, or I'm just talking about jumping someplace without actually telling the fleet to do something. This means to press the jump, of course, jump to the Stargate. And once you're on the other side, one of the standard operating procedures that I use is that you do not break cloak, and you do not, you don't move, you don't do anything until I say. If you do, for example, move your ship and you align to somewhere without me saying it, your invulnerability timer and your cloak that you have for 60 seconds after you jump through a gate are no longer going to be there, and the enemy or any other ships in system will be able to see what we're flying, and will be able to make a counter fleet for us. Does that more or less make sense?
Yes, it does.
Perfect. Next is if you do jump, please tell me in fleet chat, and because if you jump, it's you do show the other enemy or the other people in system that you have a fleet behind you, and that there's a possibility of them getting destroyed very quickly. So you show our hand before the full fleet comes in. Next, not shown in those few info links are my SOPs. Starting with my anchoring distance. So you'll most likely not be using this during this fleet, but when I'll say fleet anchor up on me or fleet form up on Ged, that would mean for everyone to right click on my name, and I'll show you where to right click, all that stuff in just a few minutes. and keep at range 500. That just means everyone's going to be right up on me, and the fleet is not going to be scattered all over the place. It's easy, and we'll practice it once we undock just real quick. Next is when we're sitting on a gate, everyone needs to make sure that they're orbiting that gate at 500. You never want to be stationary, or for example, a tornado or some other ship can alpha you off field, so they can dot you. If you're moving, their guns will most likely not be able to apply to you effectively, and you can survive to jump through the gate. Next is, I'll explain this as well once we get into low sec, is faction warfare complexes. Shorthand, we usually just call these plexes. And this is where most of the PvP that we're going to do today is going to take place in. So, for example, a command I might say is fleet warp yourselves to the small plex, or the Galante small. That would mean you're most likely to have an overview tab that's going to show Galante small outpost, Galante medium compound, so on and so forth. And you can find that and right click and warp to 10 kilometers. You never want to warp to 0 at those. You warp to 0, you could accidentally bump up against the gate, and you won't be able to slide into those. So once you warp to one of those plexes, you will come up to another gate. It won't quite look like an acceleration gate. It won't look like a Stargate. But have you ever run like missions or something?
Yes.
It's that exact gate. And just warp to 10, and you won't bump, and you can slide, and we'll be able to engage enemies in there. You'll be able to be with the rest of the fleet. Next is, most likely won't be using this as well during this fleet, but you might come across it on different fleets, is free burning. FC may say to free burn to such and such system. That would mean to pretty much just keep burning, jump, warp, to the specified system without waiting for the FC to give you commands to jump. It's all on your own accord to that system. And it's most likely to be through safe space. Lastly, for my SOPs are comms. As we're flying around, go ahead and talk. I don't care what you're talking about, just keep it uni appropriate. And but the second a scout starts talking, or a FC, or anything that has important information, you just stop talking immediately and let FC and the scout, whoever's communicating, get the information across. If you don't do that, it could cause a lot of stuff to happen because the FC won't know what's going on, so on and so forth. Next is, one more thing on those comms, is the two commands scouts or FCs may often use to clear comms, or they may simply say fleet clear comms. That would mean for everyone to just be quiet and shut up. Or they can say break, just quick succession, break. That means everyone just shut up, pretty much. Next, since it seems we have a logi in this fleet, what I looked at earlier in the fleet composition, we will be using broadcasting today. So have you ever encountered broadcasting before?
No.
Alright, so do you have your fleet window open? Not the fleet chat, but the fleet window.
Yes.
Perfect. So in that fleet window at the top, you have My Fleet, History, and Fleet Finder. You want to tab over to History. Do you see that tab?
Yeah.
Perfect. In that tab, all the way at the bottom right of it, you'll see, hopefully, like a plus sign of arrows. Do you see that?
Yes.
Perfect. So on the other side, at the bottom left, are a bunch of different symbols. These different symbols are how you communicate with Logi. So as a Logi member, you're able to know when someone needs, for example, shields, if they press the broadcast key. So if you scroll through these, you'll see the first one is spot an enemy. Next one is need armor, need shield, and need capacitor. Those are the important ones. For this fleet, we'll be using broadcaster shields. To broadcast for shields, you only want to do it once you are most likely, well, if we're engaging just one target, you want to do it once you start taking damage from that target. But if we're engaging an enemy fleet, you want to press that broadcast for shield button as soon as the enemy fleet, a substantial amount of the enemy fleet has the yellow box you. So meaning they will have a small yellow box around their name in your view, which means they have locked up on you and they're most likely going to fire on you. Does that more or less make sense? We'll do a tutorial after we undock.
Yeah, I think I've got that.
Perfect. So next, also going along with those broadcasts, is once you no longer need reps, next to all those keys is the in position at. Once you press that in position at button, that signals to the logic that you no longer need reps, that you are no longer being targeted, and that the logic can switch off and target someone else. Next is going a bit out of just fleet commands and stuff, is if you're completely lost, you have no clue what's going on, and you need to find the fleet, just go ahead, speak up in comms, speak up in fleet chat if you're scared to talk in comms, and ask, where in the world is the fleet? Please help me find you. And one of us will helpfully link system for you, and will most likely wait for you. So don't be afraid if you're lost. If it's your new fleet, it's inevitable. Every single person gets lost for the first few fleets. It's difficult to stay with the fleet. I believe in this fleet MOTD. Yes, the how to find the fleet also shows how to use the mapper. It is of the old mapper, but it still works for the new mapper. If you just go through that, it'll highlight on the map where the majority of your fleet members are, if you don't want to speak up in comms or type in fleet chat. Next is the linking kill mails. So I believe we also have, do we have a link for this? No, I do not believe we do. So to link kill mails, once you kill something, or if you die, in the bottom right hand of your screen, you'll have a little notification bar. If you die, your ship will show up in there. And to show the FC, me, that you have died, you're going to want to drag the picture from that into fleet chat. You can't just drag the box, you have to drag the picture. That'll show me that you have died. If we're in a fleet fight and you get another ship that's not yours in there, it means you have received the kill for that person. And you also want to drag that and put that into fleet chat. Just lets me know how we're doing in engagement, both on killing the enemy and how fast they're killing us. Next, gate gun mechanics. We'll go over this more if we do encounter them. But with gate guns, well, for people in low-sec, there are 3 different types of timers or engageability profiles that they're going to have. They're either going to be non-flashy, so they're going to show up as gray in your overview. They're going to be flashy, they're going to show up as a flashy yellow in your overview, or they're going to show up as a flashy red. Flashy red and flashy yellow means you are free to engage them without any interference. So you do not get a timer, a suspect timer, and in this case, if you engage on a gate, the guns on the gate will not aggress you. If you do aggress someone that is non-flashy, so gray in your profile, in your overview, when we're on gates, the gate guns will target you and they will shoot you. If you do engage someone that is non-flashy on a gate, what you want to do is you want to engage them, immediately align and warp to something. Doesn't have to be anything like on the other side of the system. You just have to warp off. Once you warp off, you have a limited engagement timer with that target, and you can warp back and you can freely engage that target without the gate guns aggressing you. It is a bit of a complicated topic, and we've all died to gate guns before, and it takes a while to learn to warp off. So don't be afraid if you do die. Just reship and come back. It's all good. Any questions on that?
I do have a question about the plexes.
Sure.
I'm still not entirely sure what the plexes are.
It'll probably be easier to explain those once we get into our first system.
All right.
They're a bit hard to just talk about them. So next part, we're gonna first do the fleet rules, then we'll move on to the watch list and stuff. So can I please have someone X up to be my 2IC? That would be my second in command. I'll take Nemo. I don't want my 2IC to leave. Next, can I have a 3IC? Or a third in command? Can't do both, Nemo. Thank you, Stoshi. Next, can I please get my scout stacks up? Anyone else up to scouting? If you want to try scouting, this is the perfect place to try it. Marcus is an awesome scout, and he will gladly teach you. Alrighty then. Guess we only have one scout. Next, can I have my Logi X up? It's all good, Zox. Thank you. Have either of you guys Logi'd before? Perfect. Alright, can I please have a few of my Vanguard, or a few Vanguard to X up? They're going to be my advanced fleet, just like 2 or 3. Perfect. 3 is fine. Zox, Dernick, and Anander. Let's add these to the MOTD, one moment. Perfect. There we go. That is our MOTD. So the next step for the new bro speech is how to add people to your watch list. So the watch list is very important because it makes it so that you can easily identify where people are in fleet, and you can right click and warp to members of that. So to add someone to your watch list, you want to go into your fleet window where you find the history, but you want to tab over to my fleet instead. In my fleet, oh, thank you, Zox. You're going to want to find first Marcus's name, and you want to right click on Marcus's name and add to watch list. This will pop up a small window named watch list. I like to keep that in a visible place. Did you get that, sort of?
Yes.
Perfect. Now that you've added Marcus, you want to next add your FC, Sinak, then your 2IC, Nemo, 3IC, Satoshi. After your 3IC, you want to add your Logi with the Gore and Porsche. After your Logi, you want to add your 3 Vanguard, Zox, Dernick, and Anander. Did you get that order?
All but the last 2.
Perfect. The last 2 will be Dernick and Anander for people. So order being Scouts, FC, 2IC, 3IC, Logi, Vanguard.
Yep.
Perfect. That should end up being 8 people in your watch list. And since we do have less than 15 people on our fleet, you can go ahead and add everyone else into your watch list. Just in the fleet chat window, press on a random person name, Control A, to select everyone, and just drag that into your watch list. And all the people under Anander are just other fleet members.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So, I believe that is about it for the new bro speech. Do you have any questions?
Not right now.
Alright, once you get into LoSec, I will go over those Plex mechanics. Yes, Scram's fine, but I will go over the webs and points. Webs and Scrams. Yeah, sure, why not, Sox.
Is there a fleet to join?
Yeah, can you please X up in Alliance chat? And then Nemo, please invite him.
Are there Merlins in Stockman?
Yes, there's some on contract. And they're not all my overpriced Merlins. There's some 6.5 mil ones out there too.
Perfect. So let's get some Scram webs. Can you please X up if you have a Scram right now? Alright, can I please get Segde and Dernick to switch to webs? Everyone else keep their Scrams. Well, that should be a decent proportion. Don't want the stacking penalties on the web being too much. Or it's worthless. Alright. Anyone have any final questions before we get moving? Perfect. Let me set a desto.
Just give me a second. I have to see if I can find a web.
Alright. Perfect. There should be some on market, I guess. Might have some in my hangars.
I'm good now.
Perfect. Everyone please set your desto to EHO link right now. Set your desto there. Should be 9 jumps per first order. All avoidance is off.
Confirm 9.
Everyone good at 9? Showing only orange squares?
Yep.
Perfect. So fleet undock and dock and dock.